Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Sunday, June 14th, 2020. My name is Thomas Hunt, and this is the World Crypto Network. The price of Bitcoin is flat again, down just 0.52%, less than 1% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 9,392, a high of 9,498, and a low of 9,330. That's $1 for 10,646 Satoshis. Volume was low, but it's a Sunday, with 2,109 Bitcoins changing hands. The market continues to lean margin long, with 82% of the market heading that direction. Bitcoin dominance was at 65%. I am the very model of a modern major general. I've information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England, and I quote the fights historical, from Marathon to Waterloo in order categorical. I am very well acquainted too with matters mathematical. I understand equations both the simple and quadratical. About binomial theorem I am teeming with a lot of news, with many cheerful facts about the square of the hypotenuse. I'm very good at integral and differential calculus. I know the scientific names of beings and animalculous. In short, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern major general. I know our mythic history, King Arthur's and Sir Caradox. I answer hot acrostics, I have a pretty taste for paradox. I quote in Heliogallics all the crimes of Heliogabalus. In conics I can four peculiarities, parabolas. I can tell undoubted Raphaels from Xerodos and Zophanies. I know the croaking chorus of the frogs of Aristophanes, and I can hum a fugue of which I've heard the music's dinner for, and whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense Pinafore. Then I could write a washing bill in Babylonic cuneiform and tell you every detail of Caractacus's uniform. In short, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern major general. In fact, when I know what is meant by Mamelon and Ravelin, when I can tell at sight a Mauser rifle from a javelin, with such affairs as sorties and surprises I'm more wary at, and when I know precisely what is meant by commissariat, when I have learned what progress has been made in modern gunnery, when I know more of tactics than a novice in a nunnery, in short, when I've a smattering of elemental strategy, you'll say a better major general has never sat a G. For my military knowledge, though I'm plucky and adventury, has only been brought down to the beginning of this century, but still in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern major general. It's Sunday. Everybody having a good Sunday today. We're getting ready for Big Book Day. Today we're going to feature the books of Edward Tufte. He's an information scientist. He makes infographics like these ones, and he also highlights other infographics that are really good. I got these books. I went to a seminar in San Francisco about how to display information, and I was lucky enough to get these Edward Tufte books and to get them signed. So it's pretty cool. There's another one here called The Visual Display of Quantitative Information by Edward Tufte. And there's a third one even, Visual Explanations. How fun is it? Not only does he get to go around the world and give seminars about how to display information better, how to make better infographics, but he also gets to sell 3 of his books in every seminar. What a smart guy. He's really got it going there, Edward Tufte. So we're going to show you the inside of these and more on Big Book Day as we learn about infographics. So looking forward to that. We've also got a brand new Charles Bukowski book right here. Looks different than the other ones. Posthumous poems this time. This one's called The Continual Condition. And it's Sunday. We're getting a nice slow start here to the show. We're really kind of, taking our time here, really breathing in this Sunday air. So give us a thumbs up and a share. Get your favorite soft drink. I've got a Pepsi today. It's quite exciting. I don't know. I need the caffeine. So, and here we go. A poem by Charles Bukowski to get you started on Sunday morning. Mannequins. They just didn't care. They just didn't care at all. The ladies brushing their hair in front of my mirror. The ladies eating across from me. They didn't care. The ladies in my bed. the ladies shopping with me at the supermarket. They just didn't care. Those ladies in their dresses and their shoes, in their underwear, they just didn't care. The ladies of birthdays, the Christmas ladies, the ladies of the New Year, they didn't. They didn't know how, or what, or for who, or for what. They just didn't know. They watched TV. They walked the sidewalk. They washed the dishes. They put flowers in vases. They sat by the window and never, ever knew or cared. It's a good one there by Bukowski. Some people just walking through life kind of blind. Let's see what else we got here. My soul is gone. The phone rings. I have just finished a grapefruit. It is the editor of one of the leading sex mags of the nation. Charles Bukowski? He asks. Yeah. Listen, we want you to write us a short story. We haven't heard from you in a long time. What have you been doing? I bite into a piece of toast, well buttered. Then let him hear it around the mastication. Screenplay, horses, drinking, yeah. He answers, well, send us something soon, will you? I say yeah. Let the phone fall back into the cradle. Now I've got to dream up some realistic murder-rape fantasy to make the people happy. It doesn't please me. I open a couple of cans of cat food and feed the cats. One will only eat tuna. The other, just beef and hearts. They both bend over their dishes and show me their dry and ridiculous bungholes. Well, shit. Will I go to the racetrack, or will I rip off a quick sex story for $1,000? On the freeway, I open the sunroof, and my rider's locks blow in the California 75-mile-per-hour wind. I can do the story tonight. Meanwhile, I can check the whores at the racetrack bar. They're all wearing slit dresses now, slit right up to the hip. Some wear panties. The best don't. I get to valet parking. The attendants know me. One of them hands me my parking tab and asks, "How you doing, champ?" I grunt, give him a nod, climb out, stretch, jerk my right shoulder, and move slowly off towards the clubhouse. Maybe one more. Thanks for the luck. At this time, I no longer have to work the nightclubs, the universities, the bookstores. I no longer have to tell the freshman English class at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, at 11 a.m. while sitting at a yellow elevated desk why I did it, how I did it, and what they might do in order to do it for themselves. I don't mind the plane flights back, with the businessmen, all of us drinking doubles and looking out past the wing, trying to relax. Grateful that we were not on Skid Row, knowing we had certain abilities, so far, which have saved us from that. I may have to do it all again, but right now I am where I belong, passing over my own Grand Canyon, on schedule, no seatbelt, no stewardesses, no lost luggage. All right, maybe one more. My art form. I watch the jocks come out on the post parade. One will win the race, the others will lose. But each jock must win sometime in some race on some day, and he must do it often enough, or he is done as a jockey. It's like the girls on the street trying to score for their pimp. Or each of us sitting over a typewriter tonight or tomorrow, or next week or next month, and doing it well enough, once in a while. Or he is done as a writer. He's a whore who can't score. I think I would like a little more kindness in the structure, but in the nature of things has a way of not listening. When I was a boy, I used to dream of becoming the village idiot. I used to lie in bed and imagine myself the happy idiot, able to get food easily and easy sympathy, a planned confusion of not too much love or effort. Some would claim that I have succeeded. Interesting stuff there from Charles Bukowski. This is a new book to me. I got it on Amazon for, I don't know, $3 or $4 used, $3 or $4 shipping. It's about $7. Fair enough. Has a cool quote from Leonard Cohen on the back. Good stuff from Charles Bukowski. He brought everybody down to earth, even the angels. Leonard Cohen on Charles Bukowski. Gonna need some more Pepsi. Got to put it on the ice so it gets cold. It's important. It's a little early for a Pepsi, but I'm tired of tea. I had a lot of tea, and I don't really drink coffee anymore, so this is it. Let's find out what's happening in the Bitcoin news today. Bitcoin bears be warned. Grayscale's trust is hungry for Bitcoin. And again, we all talked about this before the halving. As you all know, about, 3 or 4 weeks, a month ago, Bitcoin had a halving. What does that mean? Well, every 10 minutes or so on average, there's a block. Like just right now, there's a block coming across the train. When you earn that block as a mining pool, you get a Bitcoin reward. You also get the fees in that block. The Bitcoin reward used to be 12.5 Bitcoins. After the halving, the Bitcoin block reward is 6.25. So it makes perfect sense at all that Grayscale can't buy enough Bitcoin. In fact, if they can't find enough Bitcoin to buy, they're going to have to raise their prices and pay more money for that Bitcoin. So let's hold on to those Bitcoin. Let's not sell them to Grayscale. Let's make Grayscale and others pay more. Scarcity. There's less Bitcoin on the market now. They should cost more. Bitcoin price near monster move after weeks of range trading. Traders say Bitcoin is due for highly volatile price action in the near term as the price approaches a pivotal point. It's pretty great on Cointelegraph there. They've got the Bitcoin guy. He's in the woods. It's a top-down view. It's dark. There's an owl watching him. Looks very scary out there for Bitcoin. Where will the big move happen? Well, let's see. Again, we're going to go both directions on these. So one big move could be a rejection at 9,200, which would be followed by a fall to the 7,000s. The other would entail the price holding at 9,200, then retesting 10,500. Whichever direction it goes, we don't know, but it's fun to predict it both ways. It really makes you feel like you're getting some information. It could go to 7,000. It could go to 10,500. That's really good information. It's very actionable. You're going to be able to act on that information, I know. Check out World Crypto Network store at worldcryptonetwork.store. We've got the Trezors Don't Float t-shirt, the dual logo World Crypto Network mug, limited edition, Bitcoin Not Bombs, a brand new, awesome new t-shirt from Davi Barker, 2020 Bitcoin Halving Edition, Special Edition, and World Crypto Network, the shirt. Support this show, buy a t-shirt or a mug. It really helps out. Thanks so much. And check out the World Crypto Network podcast. It's up to date. It's all happening on the World Crypto Network podcast. I even went ahead and updated yesterday's episode already. I'm getting more used to updating it. I don't know, the podcast might run a day behind. I might be able to fit the update into my morning routine. That would work. I don't know if anybody's okay with that. The problem with running the podcast on the same day is that it's not ready when I finish the show. So usually when I finish the show, a couple hours of complaining about politics and so on and so forth, I'm ready to get away from the desk for a little while. So it's tough to come back to the desk. It's kind of random. It's not on a schedule. So maybe updating a day behind, that might work. So, but for now, check it out. World Crypto Network podcast, completely up to date. We've got the Bitcoin group. We've got an interview with BottlePay from the Lightning Conference 2019, and much, much more right here on the World Crypto Network. So check it out. It's on iTunes and Spotify and all the places. And if you guys want, you could leave us a rating. Some of the ratings are really mean. They don't care at all that we do this for free and that we do our best. But it's the internet. People can be, people post their true opinions when they can't see their faces. Something like that. Checking out the price of Bitcoin, it's flat again, less than 1% movement in the last 24 hours, with a last of 9,404, a high of 9,498, and a low of 9,330. That's $1 for 10,600 and moving fast Satoshis. Volume was low, but it's a weekend with 2,105 Bitcoins changing hands. The market continues to lean margin long, 82%, and Bitcoin dominance is at 65%. Let's see. Before we do the news, let's do some big books. Let's get some action going here. So I want to show you first, before we talk about Edward Tufte, I want to talk about this Napoleon infographic. This is a classic infographic from Paris, 1869, and it's about 50 years previous. The War of 1812 to 1813, the Napoleonic Wars, specifically Napoleon's invasion of Russia. This infographic was highlighted by Edward Tufte as the greatest infographic ever made. And I completely agree with him. I talked about it before, but since we're going to talk about infographics today, I don't think that we could move forward without first acknowledging Menard's incredible work here. So I'm going to go quickly because we've talked about it before, so you're probably bored with it. But if you start out right here, this is 422,000 men in Napoleon's army. Do you see the width of this bar? That bar represents the 422. So once we've gone down to here, we see 60,000 men split off. That's another bar that represents men. This rightward track is Napoleon's path into Russia. So you can see right here, the army is really shrinking down as they go deeper into Russia. We've talked about the reasons for this. Fascinating story. Napoleon's troops didn't have the right gear for winter, and the gear they did have, the jackets had lead buttons. Sorry, they had lead buttons. You might think that doesn't mean anything, lead's okay, whatever, but lead in cold shrinks. So the buttons on Napoleon's men's jackets shrunk, and they wouldn't hold their jackets closed. So as much as they didn't have winter gear, they weren't prepared for this. They thought it would be over sooner. The buttons shrank. The jackets failed. They lay open and didn't provide any protection. So awful experience for Napoleon's troops. You can see they get all the way here to Moscow, and look how small the bar has become. This is one of the greatest anti-war infographics in history. You can just look at it and see people die. Like, if you really understand this graphic, it might move you to tears. Here we have 422,000 men. By the time they reach Moscow, it's only 100,000 men. Then comes the way back, the journey out of Moscow. You can see that the black line is already very small. But at this point, Menard goes a step further. First of all, I'd say that we're on a map here. In addition to being an infographic, we're also on a map, so you can see some of the rivers that they're crossing and the geographical area that the army is going through. On the way back, Menard links the army movements to the temperature. Look at this gauge below us. This is the temperature. It's 0 degrees when they start heading back from Moscow. It drops to -9. Then it drops to -21. You can see how small the army line is getting here. It's down to about 20,000, 24,000 men. Started out with 422,000, to say nothing about the fighting and so on and so forth. Just the temperature, just the cold, the lack of equipment, etc. It gets down to here. The temperatures come up a little to 11. Then we see brutal, again, -20, -11, -20, -24, -30. And we can see Napoleon's army has shrunk. Even though the previous section that broke off has rejoined, the entire army is down to about 12,000 men now. From 422,000, almost 500,000 men, down to 12,000. The temperature goes up a little to minus 26, and Napoleon's army exits. The additional force joins up. About 10,000 men leave over the river Niemen. 422,000 crossed it. 10,000 returned. Greatest infographic in history. We're going to be looking at some more infographics later with the Edward Tufte books that I've got us for today on Big Book Day, Big Book Sunday. But first, I just wanted to show this incredible Menard graphic. And 1869, he did this. No computer, no Photoshop, no annotated drawing. He did this by hand, presumably with a ruler and so on and so forth. But magnificent. 1869, Charles Menard. Fantastic. And now, unfortunately, here's the news. There's lots and lots of news today. We're going to be here a while. Hopefully you'll find some of it fun. We have a lot of videos of what they're calling Karens, these very disturbed white people that are out and about complaining about what black people are doing, sometimes reporting them to police, other things. We have a couple of those. We've got some interesting stuff about the president today. He had some major troubles yesterday. He had trouble drinking a glass of water with one hand, and he had trouble walking down a ramp. Not a very steep ramp. I don't wish anybody ill, but it does seem like the president is not well. 6 months ago, he was rushed to the hospital, presumably for a standard inspection, but they never told us what happened at that hospital. Many people are speculating on the internet it's possible the president could have had a stroke. It's possible that he could have Parkinson's disease, and it's also possible that he could have early stages of dementia. But we're going to take a look at both those videos today, so you will get a chance to see the president unable to drink one-handed. His left arm doesn't seem to go up, or his right arm, sorry, doesn't seem to go up that high. He has to assist himself drinking water with his other hand. Then he has trouble walking down the ramp and seems to be kind of shuffle stepping. So it's very strange. It's very concerning. This guy's technically in charge of the nuclear football. He's technically making decisions for this country. And if he's not well, it might be time to retire. Like, you don't want to drag the country down, right? Like, your ego's not so big that you would destroy the entire country. Is it? Well, we'll find out about that. So here we go. We're going to venture into the news. Oh, good. We've got something not about the news. Check out Jason Scott at Text Files. He says that the internet is flipping out about Stray, which he knew as the HK Project, and before that as You're a Cat in Kowloon City. That's the pitch. And he bought hook, line, and sinker years ago, offered to do work for them, and glad that they're finally getting it done. I watched a whole demo reel of PlayStation 5 video games yesterday, and the graphics looked amazing. Most of the games looked really boring, right, though? I'm an old guy. First-person shooters, boring. Real-time strategy. I mean, I love all these things, but they're just... I've played Doom. I've played hundreds of versions of Doom. I don't care anymore. But this one looked totally different and crazy unique. It showed a world where there were no more humans, and there were all these robots walking around. Then the camera pans up to a lone cat with all these robots. And I don't know what the game's like, but I guess you get to play the cat. So sounds cool, sounds totally different. That's what I'm looking for in video games, is something totally different. Something like Katamari Damacy, where you roll over things and pick them up. That was fun and unexpected, right? That's what I need from video games. So shout out to Jason Scott. I'm excited for Stray as well. Did you guys watch the demo? Let me know in the chat and the comments if you're excited about the PlayStation 5, which we'll see. Got to save up. Oh, they're having, let's see, China. China is questioning volunteers who staffed epidemic services, notably maintaining hotlines for finding open Wuhan hospital beds, over suspicions they leaked info fueling U.S. allegations that China covered up the scale of the epidemic. The volunteers deny this. And we have an update on this story from Emily Fang. She writes, Chen Mai and Ka Wei, who helped update a GitHub repository of censored coronavirus articles, have been formally arrested for disorderly conduct and taken to Beijing's Chaoyang Detention Center and given state-appointed lawyers despite having lawyers already. So the situation continues to get worse in Hong Kong. As a person who lives in a country that still kind of grants him free speech, I can't imagine living in a country that doesn't have it. I often say the wrong thing so many times, not on purpose, so on and so forth. I would hate it for the state to be able to punish me for saying the wrong thing, and everyone else too. Scary stuff from Hong Kong. About 20,000 Americans become infected with COVID-19 each day, and another 1,000 die. Those numbers would likely fall fast and far if Trump simply wore a mask in public and told others to do the same. He refuses. For some reason, this isn't a political scandal, and I know it seems absurd, so on and so forth, but if we really want to kill this virus, if we all started wearing masks tomorrow, even if you're not sick, we would prevent the spread of the virus. We would greatly limit it, and that would lead us towards winning, and that would be Team Human, right? I'm on Team Human. You can judge me for it or whatever, but I like humans. I think they're good. There's a lot of ups and downs. They've destroyed the environment, but they built computers. So, ups and downs. Nintendo Switch, poisoned a river. There's ups and downs. But to not wear a mask and to just let people die, you're on Team Virus. And again, maybe you're like, oh, the virus isn't real or whatever, but why don't you just wear a mask? It's not that bad. Like, let's say the virus isn't real and it all comes out fake, but you wore a mask and you didn't spread it. Is that so bad? I don't think it's so bad. I think we should wear masks. Nearly 6 years after Ferguson and Mike Brown, St. Louis City Police still don't have body cameras. Officials blame the cost, but we all know that's BS. During that same period, St. Louis built the Loop Trolley for $51 million, and it's already gone out of business. Priorities. Not only should they get body cameras, they should get body cameras that never turn off. I don't care if officers have to go to the bathroom or have private conversations or whatever. You give up your privacy when you become an officer. That's why you get paid so well. Check out a Black Lives Matter protest from Paris, France. Look at the size of the crowd. Look at how it stretches on and on. Also, of course, coronavirus. Look at the horrible closeness of the people. But still, no police needed. No riot cops needed. And if riot cops did try to stop this riot, I imagine they would get trampled, right? This is the real numbers, that the people support this protest, and the people are a much bigger group than the police. So I wouldn't fight them head on, but they seem to be disagreeing. This is a very sad story from a homeless shelter in Brooklyn. Dr. Hatham Ahmed writes, "My patient works at a homeless shelter in Brooklyn. Tearfully, she told me that every resident there got COVID in April. Every single one. More than 20 died. No one had a funeral. No one called. No media reported about it. Think about that. They just disappeared." It's horrible to see so many people have such a sad and terrible and lonely ending because of this coronavirus. If you want to try some empathy, you could try some empathy by thinking what it must have been like for them, what it must have been like to die alone, or think about what it must have been like to be a person who worked there or a person who lived there and to watch 20 of your friends in the home die, and then no celebrations, no funerals, no memories, no visitors, no nothing. They just disappeared. Fox News created a fake image of a heavily armed protester at the Chaz in Seattle, and they have taken it down. But still, they're just making things up out of whole cloth. They're photoshopping images that support their views, then they're claiming that they're real images. It's not a news organization. That's propaganda. Propaganda. America's favorite news. Makes you dumber every time. Did you know Fox News viewers are consistently less informed than other viewers of other news channels? Yes, that's right. And check out the Peppermill Restaurant, a classic diner in Las Vegas. It's packed to the gills. There's waiting lists and all kinds of things. Nobody's spreading out. Nobody's sitting every other table. And nobody's wearing a face mask. Great job. Spread that virus. Team Virus. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, Fremont Street, the downtown in Las Vegas, has reversed their decision to hold live music shows. That's right. The governor's worried about what a great job Las Vegas is doing spreading the virus and how many people we're going to kill. And he thinks that maybe we just shouldn't have concerts yet because that would just kill a lot more people. At least we can wait for now. Check out Stonehenge. The summer solstice celebration will be televised for the first time ever. Millions will be able to watch the sun align with the ancient stone calendar monument live on Facebook and other services. This is because no one's allowed to go this year. Not as opposed to not allowing people there, they're going to allow cameras. This is a very neat thing. I got to go to Stonehenge last year, first time, only time, and it was great. But we had to stand so far away from the monuments. They had a big little kind of rope fence around the monument. And they had a lot of guys watching us, especially because we waved a Bitcoin flag, and that pissed them off. But generally, they were watching everybody too. And they say at the solstice celebrations, they actually take down that rope and they let you touch the monuments. And I've heard from some people that when you touch them, they vibrate. Didn't get to do this, can't confirm it to you. Sure, I guess I could have run over the line and then they would have arrested me and then I would be in a British prison. But sure would be neat to be there for the summer solstice or the winter solstice and to get to go up close to these things and look underneath them and underneath the thing at the top and so on and so forth. It would be great to get more up close feelings to these. But for now, I'm just going to look forward to this live stream. This is great. I just got to remember on summer solstice day that I need to watch this Stonehenge live stream. Cool, huh? So that's something to look forward to. It's not so bad. See, we got some positive news here. It's not all terrible yet. And yeah, we've talked a lot about how the billionaires made lots of money during the pandemic. I'm tired of it. Here's a comparison of Trump's speaking style in June 2015 versus Trump speaking at West Point today, almost 5 years later. He does seem to have something wrong with him. We're going to play maybe just a little of this speech. The intro is kind of good. He's talking about how rich he is, which is funny because we all know that's not true. But look at him front.
Because I don't need anybody's money. It's
nice. He's quick, though.
I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
Now, of course, he ended up taking donors' money, and now he's begging for donors' money and so on and so forth. But here he is just the other day speaking at West Point. Oh, come on, Twitter. All I do is skip forward in your video. No one does video like Twitter consistently wrong.
I don't need anybody's money.
There we go. Let's try it one more time.
I need you to be as bold and determined as the immortal General Douglas MacArthur, who knew that the American soldier never ever quits after leaving the Philippines for Australia.
Now, sure, I mean, he could be tired here. He could be, had a long day. He's clearly leaning on the right side of the podium. He's reading the speech off teleprompter, but still quite a change from this guy.
I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care.
Very expressive, very fast.
As the immortal General Douglas MacArthur.
That's MacArthur.
Who knew that the American soldier never ever quits after leaving the Philippines for Australia at a low point.
Just doesn't sound very good, man. Not a doctor. I don't know what's going on, but the dude doesn't sound very good. It's only been 5 years. Here he is trying to drink water. It's a pretty common thing. A lot of people drink water. See, he's got the left. So very strange. You can see he's got it up to the mouth there with the right hand. The right hand can't seem to tip it back. As though maybe he's got a Bob Dole type situation. We all remember Bob Dole fought in World War II, had damage to his right arm. That's why he would always hold a pen. He couldn't do much else with it. It's a sad story. The media made a lot of fun of Bob Dole over that, and I don't think it was acceptable. Bob Dole fought in the war. But here he is. He has to use the left hand to tip up the right hand so that he can get water. It's almost like he forgot that his right arm doesn't work anymore. Very strange. And when you combine this with the video of him walking down the ramp slowly, it just doesn't seem like he's very well. 4 more years, I would just want to retire if I was him. But I don't know. Check it out. We had some great stuff here on the internet. It's an animated GIF of Craig Wright and others. They're having trouble getting out of the insane asylum. Look like Roger's there in the background. That's... I forget that guy's name, but yeah, he's there too. Yours, he did like the Yours network and stuff. But yeah, all the beat cashers having trouble getting out. Thanks so much to @CryptoShiva for helping out with the music. I don't want to play it because I'll lose my ad rights and stuff, but it goes dun 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 dun. All right, that's enough. The Secret Service has determined that an agency employee did use pepper spray on June 1st during efforts to secure the area near Lafayette Park. Remember, after this happened, despite the massive clouds of tear gas that everyone could see with their eyes, they went out and claimed that it wasn't tear gas. Well, the Secret Service has had to roll that back. They at least definitely used tear gas. No one should buy John Bolton's new book, says Robert Reich. No one should profit from exposing wrongs they had a duty to reveal for free when it would have counted. And if John Bolton had stepped up and testified against the President of the United States instead of writing a book for money, maybe he wouldn't be president anymore, and John Bolton would have saved this country. Instead, he just wants money. Classy guy. Authorities in Tulsa, Oklahoma are investigating the arrest of 2 black teenagers accused of jaywalking, with a video from an eyewitness showing one officer pulling a teen out of a patrol car and onto the ground. It's a video right there.
He done choked this kid, hit this kid. Look at him. Look how he's pulling this kid out of the car.
Oh, man, look at him.
What the hell is this about? They got him cuffed. They
These
win.
are kids.
Why are they knocking him down on the ground like this?
These are kids. These are kids.
They were jaywalking. They walked
These are
across the
kids.
street, not at a crosswalk.
But he kicking this kid. He's kicking this kid in his car. Talks to police.
How many times does this have to happen? Defund the fucking police. Disband the fucking police. Who cares anymore? Get rid of them all. Fire them all. Enough. And here's a fun graphic. You are here. The Titanic is sinking, and everybody's got their phones out in the water so we can all get a great video of the Titanic sinking. Never mind what's going to happen later with the sharks and the drowning and the massive loss of life. Here's Trump descending a ramp very slowly. He's doing kind of half-step, pigeon steps there. He's got the military guy with him just in case. He says there's not a railing, but he's sure walking like there is a railing. He said later, trying to cover it up because he was so embarrassed about it. You can always tell when he's embarrassed. He put out a nice big lie saying that it was slippery and that he didn't want to fall in front of the press. I'm sure he didn't want to fall in front of the press, but the reality here seems to be he can only kind of half-step walk. It's not a very steep ramp. He called it steep. and having some trouble walking there. So we'll see how this goes. There's a great contrast video probably coming up here that shows Biden and Obama jogging around the White House, whereas this gentleman can barely walk. So there's another video from police. This is in East Meadow, New York, Long Island. I'm going to stop it here at the beginning. Okay, so the protester guy was, he was ragging on the police. He was saying stuff to him. And it looks like he's carrying, I actually thought it was a suitcase, but I think it's a block rocker. So that's a speaker. So he's carrying a speaker. He's mouthing off at these guys. And as you guys all know in school, whenever anyone mouths off to you, you get like 4 of your buddies and beat the shit out of them, right? Apparently that's what police do in Long Island, New York. Twitter video. But let's go to another screen here and let's get that going. Here's the police in Long Island, New York. And okay, this guy's mouthing off at him, sure. But look what the cop does. The cop steps in front of the protester. This is classic old school, high school type hijinks. Steps in front of him. See, the cop is going diagonally that direction. The protester has to go that way. Big mistake. He's now separated from his people. And the police officer accuses him of bumping into him. You bumped into me right there. When I walked in front of you, I walked diagonally in front of you, and you bumped into me. And again, guys, cops, this is how cameras work, right? Everyone has this video. When you get to trial, they're going to play this video and they're going to say, hey, he didn't assault you. You stepped in front of him. Like you stopped. Look, he steps in front of him and he stops. That's it right there. That right there is enough to beat the shit out of him. And here we go. He stopped. Now there's 3-on-1. Now there's 4-on-1, 5-on-1. Here we go. The 2 guys have him. The other guy, watch him kick him in the leg, knock him down there. Pushing him to the ground. 5 guys, 6 guys. Yep, 7 guys. You're going to need a little wall there. So again, the police officer in real time steps in front of him. They're shoulder to shoulder here. The cop steps in front of him and stops. Then he says, he touched me. You see the guy put his hands out? He's like Vlade Divac here. He's like, I was hit. I fell down. It's like it's a soccer foul, right? He's like, it's a total obvious soccer foul. Whoop. And then all 7 of them worked together to beat the shit out of him. They didn't like what he was saying, so they stepped in front of him and stopped, and then they start pounding him on the concrete there. So, great stuff, Long Island Police Department. We have you on video, you morons. You're gonna lose your job. You're gonna lose your job. Hopefully. As Max Kennerly says, they know they're being recorded and yet still default to a grade school level. You walked into me as a reason to forcibly take him down because they know that's usually good enough to justify the arrest and avoid any consequences. That's how deep the culture of impunity goes. And again, we have to remove the right of cops not to be sued. You have to be able to sue cops for this. This guy right here should take his house. That other guy should lose everything. His job was to protect people, and instead he puts on this little charade, this little show of, he ran into me. Oh! This isn't going to pass anymore, guys. We have video cameras. It goes on the internet. Everyone's seen that. 633,000 views. Watch that video. Morons. And now we have another sad story. Atlanta protesters blocked the interstate, set fire to cars at fast food restaurants, and the protesters are angry over the fatal shooting of a black man at a fast food restaurant in Atlanta. I think we're going to let presidential candidate Andrew Yang describe this one for us. Andrew says, "Why would you shoot a drunk man running away from you with deadly force? Rayshard Brooks should be alive today. He fell asleep at a drive-thru and is now dead as a result of police action. This has to end." And again, there's a little bit more to that. I think we have the video. We'll probably play that for you coming up here. But as far as we can tell, the current story is yes, the guy was asleep in his car, presumably drunk. It was late at night at Wendy's. Now, I don't know if he was parked in the parking lot or if he was parked in the drive-through lane. So he might have been, bother to people in the drive-through lane, or he might have been just in the parking lot. Either way, the police got a call. They showed up. The situation was pretty normal. You got a guy sleeping in his car and he's drunk. So he's not harming anyone. Sure, it's possible he could drive and then be a drunk driver and harm people, but it seems like his goal was just to sleep it off. Maybe at 3 a.m. he'd wake up at Wendy's and drive home, right? He should live. He should be alive. Sitting in your car, sleeping at Wendy's shouldn't be death, right? That's not the legal code. They aren't the judges. They aren't the jury. They're not supposed to be handing out death for sleeping in your car at Wendy's. Now, after they pulled him out of his car and they were harassing him, there was a bit of a scuffle. They fought back and forth. We're told that Mr. Brooks did pull the taser from the officer and may have attempted to tase them. He probably has never used a taser before, and he missed. Sadly, missing with that shot led to his death. He then started to run away. Again, the officers could just let him go. He's not going to have that much harm to society, as well as you can call in a helicopter. You can call in more officers with cars. Like, you're going to get this guy. Plus, you have his car. You probably have his driver's license. You have his registration. You know where he lives. Like, the crime will be solved, my friends. Like, justice will be done. You'll get that guy for sleeping in the parking lot at Wendy's. Really big crime. So instead of all that, all the police procedure and all the work that would be, the guy draws his gun and shoots him in the back while he's running away. And they kill him. They kill him for sleeping in a drive-thru at Wendy's drunk. That's death offense now in Atlanta. So, justifiably so, the people of Atlanta had protests and burned down buildings last night and so on and so forth. We're going to show you a video of that. Strange thing, who's actually starting the fires. But now it looks like, I don't know if it's fortunate or not, but oh boy, guys, it's Karen time. So this is another one where, I don't know, I would try to side with both sides a little bit. These people are kind of trying to do the right thing. They're trying to protect their neighborhood from graffiti and stuff, but really, they should just mind their own business. It's not their building. It's not their house, which, puts you involved. If you don't want something written on your house, that's pretty reasonable. But if it's some random house somewhere and it's not yours and you don't own the neighborhood and it's not your friend's house, not your cousin's house, just let it go, right? Let the people, especially chalk. This is chalk that he was putting on. So here it is. The guy was putting a chalk message on a wall, and this lady and this guy seem to have a little bit of richness going on, have some white privilege going on, and they're going to show it to us. So here we go, beginning our Karen festival today. Maybe in another window it'll work better. But here we go. Let's learn about Karen, and she's concerned about this chalk on the sidewalk.
Is this your property? Hi, I'm asking you if this is your property.
Why are you asking?
Because it's private property.
Because it's private property,
So,
sir.
are you defacing private property, or is this your building? You're free to express your opinion.
It's chalk.
But not on people's property.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Sure.
Just respectfully.
sure.
So we're just saying, absolutely, your signs and everything, and that's good. This is not the way to do it.
Okay.
It's private property.
But if I did live here and it was my property, this would be absolutely fine. And you don't know if I live here or if this is my property.
We actually do know. That's why we're asking.
Oh, really? Because you live here, right? You
No,
said so.
because we know the person who does live here.
Oh, okay.
So
Then
that's all
I
we
suggest
wanted to
you
ask.
call
I'm
him
not
or
disagreeing with
call the
you.
police.
I don't
Or
wanna call the police.
because
What do you
you're
want me
accusing me
to?
of a crime, correct?
What I'm asking you is why are you
And I'm
doing
not
this?
answering you.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So your choices are to call the cops if you believe I'm calling a crime, and I will more than be happy to talk to him.
Okay, thank you.
What's your name again?
I'm Lisa.
Lisa, what's your last name?
What is your name?
What's your name? I asked
I'm
first,
not
Lisa.
committing a crime,
What's your name,
sir.
sir? What's your last name, sir?
What is your first name, sir?
I'm not answering. I'm not talking to you. You're talking to me. I'm asking you the questions.
Well, we're not doing anything illegal.
Neither am I.
Yes,
Actually,
you
you
are
are. Because
actually.
it's
Really?
property.
Oh, okay. Well, then call the cops.
Thank you. We will do so.
Lisa and Robert.
Yeah.
I'll be right here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye. And that, people, is why Black Lives Matter. That's Karen, and she's calling the cops. And this is going to be really funny. Because she knows the people who live here. Personally.
And that's from San Francisco. Looks familiar. Looks like Russian Hill to me. But yeah, definitely kind of my old neighborhood. But yeah, very strange. I'm not sure why they chose to insert themselves into that situation. It wasn't their building. Maybe it's their friend's building, but it was chalk. Like, it will wash off. Maybe if it was spray paint, I'd be a little bit more interested. But yes, very strange there. People sticking their noses in where it doesn't belong. CNN will host a town hall on racial inequality and COVID-19. Featuring the mayor of Washington, D.C., the mayor of Atlanta, the mayor of Chicago, and the mayor of San Francisco. As Abolitionist at Teleusk writes, the mayor of Washington, D.C., Bowser, paints a Black Lives mural, then refuses to modify the police budget by 1 cent. The mayor of Atlanta, the Atlanta Police Department killed a black man just last night. The mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot, is literally a cop, and the mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, uses the FFPD as her own personal anti-homeless force. Identity isn't a politic. Black faces in high places is just empty symbolism. It matters much more what you believe in than who you are. Here's a video of the Atlanta shooting. This looks like this is the video that came out after the shooting, where this man takes his life into his own hands and yells at the officers for murdering this man who was sleeping in his car. Let's watch.
Watch these fucking pigs talk to this dude for 20 minutes and these fucking assholes shoot him in the Wendy's drive-thru for no fucking reason. For no fucking reason. Shot him. I saw y'all talking to him for 20 minutes, dude. Unarmed, non-violent, nothing wrong with how he conducted himself whatsoever. And you pull a fucking gun, dude?
They say he did grab the taser, so.
Wow. I feel like both of your careers are definitely done because you just shot a man for no reason. This pig and these two. Yeah, suspects hit by your bullet, dude, for no reason. Jumbling with the fucking glove, you fucking clown. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? What the fuck? I saw this whole fucking thing, and it's totally unnecessary. Absolutely fucking unnecessary. I only sound calm because I fucking just spent the last fucking couple of fucking minutes yelling at these fucking pigs about how they killed a man for no reason. I saw them trying to resuscitate him. His arm just dangled, if you can see it. I'm pretty sure this is performative in the sense that they might have lost this gentleman, unfortunately, to police brutality. Yet again, at the Wendy's drive-thru, 2 cops kill a black man for no good goddamn reason.
So there you go. The police killed a black man at a drive-thru in Atlanta for no good reason. Robert Reich adds, the president's son charged American taxpayers more than $75,000 for an 8-day hunting trip to Mongolia. But at this point, it isn't even news anymore. This is how far we've fallen. And yes, the president's son is not going to resign. He's not going to denounce his Secret Service protection. He's not going to do anything. He's not going to pay it back, even though he could probably afford it. That's our money. That's tax money. $75,000 for an 8-day hunting trip to Mongolia. An alternate reading of the Mayan calendar suggests the end of the world is next week. All right, well, let's hang in there. It's the New York Post, so take it with a grain of salt. But next week, so we had a good run. We have a lot of time. Again, more about The man shot at Wendy's after running away. There's worries that Trump is deteriorating rapidly after a video shows him struggling to walk down a ramp. They can't hide this much longer. And of course, we all remember the classic movie Dave. I love the movie Dave with Kevin Kline and so many more. Ving Rhames is in there, Sigourney Weaver. And it's just so great. It's just a great movie. And it's all about them replacing the president. The president has a stroke, so they replace him with a lookalike. And it turns out that the lookalike has a heart and would be a really great president under normal situations. They hide from the public the condition of the real president. It's also a lot like Wag the Dog. Jimmy's computer yesterday, the laptop with the LCD screen, was a Tandy 200. And it was normal for him as a late 80s road warrior. Let's check this out. We were talking about zip drives. I saw some cool comments in the chat. A lot of people had zip drives. You're old like me. And here's Jimmy's first laptop with the cassette backup. He says it's a Tandy 200. And it was a laptop, so that's quite something in those days to have a laptop. It has an LCD screen, looks like, so it's probably mainly DOS commands, word processing, that kind of thing. No mouse, you'll notice. They just didn't have them just before mice. No trackball, no any other kind of thing. So, and look at the unique placement of the arrow keys above the keyboard. That's pretty weird. You don't see that. So shout out to Jimmy, still enjoying the pictures of your old computers. So good stuff. If anybody else wants to share pictures of their old computers, I'd be glad to look at them. I wish I had more pictures of mine, but it would be back before my digital photos, so I'd have to go back to the standard photos, and they're just not all scanned. They're just not as all easy to access. So here's a pretty great metaphor for our times, as Kashana says. The New York City Police is out there protecting the Wall Street bull. That's pretty much it, right? They've got the bull covered with a tarp. They've got a metal line around it and a couple of police officers in light riot gear. So yes, the bull, the profits of Wall Street are more important than the people. A visual reminder, a visual metaphor. It's perfect, isn't it? Especially the way they've covered it with a tarp. Reminds me of that program, the TARP program, where they were bailing out Wall Street. They gave them a tarp last time too. So it's possible that President Trump has neurosyphilis. As Philip Raines said, struggling with the water glass was telling, but what was on full display today was his long-time balance problem, specifically negotiating stairs, slopes, ramps, uneven ground. It's been caught on camera at multiple occasions, and these are symptoms, as he says, of neurosyphilis. Let's read a little about neurosyphilis. Neurosyphilis is a disease of the coverings of the brain itself, or the spinal cord. It can occur in people with syphilis, especially if they're left untreated. Neurosyphilis is different from syphilis because it affects the nervous system. Interesting. Let's go on at the bottom. General periscan occur between 3 and 30 years after getting syphilis. People with general paralysis can have personality or mood changes. Check. Tabes dorsalis is characterized by pains in the limbs or abdomen, failure of muscle coordination, we got that, and bladder disturbances. Other signs include vision loss, loss of reflexes, and loss of sense of vibration, poor gait, and impaired balance. Tabes dorsalis can occur anywhere from 5 to 50 years after the initial syphilis infection. So it's possible that the president has neurosyphilis and that it's interfering with his muscle coordination, reflexes, gait, and balance, all of which were on display in that video from West Point. Chi Berger writes, "Look how he couldn't even lift the glass up right. Then walking so gingerly. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a stroke when they rushed him to Walter Reed. Couldn't have been a fall and a fractured right shoulder. They wouldn't have been able to hide that." Like a kid with 2 hands. I feel so sorry for him. He is the loneliest person on earth who's doing everything he can in order to feel like he fits in. People who need to dominate and control others are the most spiritually deficient souls. And it is sad. It's also sad if they're hiding it. It's sad if they're not telling the American people, if they're covering it up. It's sad for him because, as we all know with the cover-ups, it's going to come out. We know all about FDR and his wheelchair. The media covered it up during his time period perfectly. But still, photographs, still stories. And, of course, when he goes, the media writes everything that they've been hiding. So whoever knows is certain to write a book about me and the sick president someday, and we'll all read it and we'll say, gosh, we should have known that, or that seems so obvious. Breaking news. Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida is introducing a bill requiring U.S. soccer to stand for the anthem or face financial repercussions. If players are playing for our national team, he said, they should stand for the anthem. They should respect our flag. And as Stephen Pasquale reminds him, forced patriotism is fascism, you dumb fuck. I think that sums it up nicely. And here he is. Healthy people don't require the use of both hands to drink a glass of water. And maybe he shouldn't be running for president again for another 4 years if he's unhealthy. If you can't even lift a glass of water to your mouth, what business do you have running America for 4 more years? It seems very selfish. Again, who are we looking at? Why is Trump having trouble walking down a ramp and drinking a glass of water with one hand? Does he have Parkinson's? Is this the reason for the mysterious Walter Reed trip last year? We deserve answers. And we do. Trump looks weak. Trump looks elderly. Trump looks scared. And Trump looks off balance. He should resign. They could get Pence to run. They should run Pence. Of course, we all remember when Hillary had pneumonia and it was hot and she felt dizzy, and we had a 3-week news cycle talking about her, speculating about replacing her on the ticket. Meanwhile, Trump can't lift a water bottle, slurs his words, and can't remember the names of generals. It takes him 10 minutes to get down a ramp, and nobody's saying anything. All right, I think before we do some more Karens, we need to break it up with a big book. So here it is, Envisioning Information by Edward Tufte. Let's see. So here's a video, here's some information about China. Where did poets flourish? And you can see here the geographical maps with the dots. Pretty impressive standard infographic work there. But what a cool book. So many different ways to organize and display information. And again, one of the main reasons that he wrote this book, one of the main things he was talking about here is the old Feynman story about the space shuttle, right? Where Richard Feynman goes to Congress and he demonstrates to them, he says, oh, here's what happened to our space shuttle, the Challenger. We launched too late at night and the O-ring became hard and brittle. And that one of the reasons that the NASA didn't understand that this was going to happen to them was because of a bad PowerPoint. The PowerPoint did not really demonstrate to people what was going on. So they launched at night anyway, and they lost the ship. So one of the things that Tufte is focused on with his infographics and his way to distribute information is to get people away from simple information like PowerPoint, usually 3 bullet points on a screen, not a lot of depth to the graphics, and to get you the ability to see something like one of these spirals here. Like, let's see, down here. There we go. So you can see the amount of information declared there. Chemical elements, the periodic table of elements, different ways of presenting the periodic table. Look how they're all connected together. Can't get this quite right. But yeah, some amazing infographics here. I definitely suggest going to the Tufte seminars. If you get a chance, I got to go to this one in San Francisco. They even sent me for work. It was pretty cool. It doesn't happen very often as a computer geek, but I also did information display as well. So Edward Tuft, that's a big book. It's Big Book Sunday. We're breaking up the news. But now we're going right back for some more exciting Karen footage. So this was a strange one. There's two different videos here, but I was fortunate and able to find the right one and to find the first one. So here's this lady there in Miami, and this lady, I'm all the way in Miami while this dumbass in LA is fucking up my car just because she's racist and doesn't like us. So it sounds like this person was on vacation. Maybe they left their car there. Maybe they parked in front of their neighbor's house. You can never tell what will drive people mad. But this lady is here banging the car with hammers. Simpsons reference, giving it speed holes. That makes it faster.
And I got you on video that you're destroying my car. Thank you.
Get the fuck out of this neighborhood, you fucking shit.
Yep. Cool, lady.
Call, please.
I'm calling. Don't worry.
You could have told us. Hi, I'm at 10408 Glade Avenue. Because my neighbor has two fucking hammers in her goddamn hand and she's assaulting the car.
She's destroying property. Let them know that. And I have her on video. And I got you on video that you're destroying my car.
So this lady was destroying the car of her neighbor, told her to go back to Mexico. And I'm not sure how much later it was, but a little bit later, this happened. Maybe to show people why you shouldn't mess with your neighbors, why you should mind your own business, why you shouldn't hit someone else's car with a hammer. I want to warn everybody there's inappropriate language here. I assume you're all adults, so on and so forth, but she's going to say bitch about 100 times. But here we go. Also, this was commented on the video. They said that it was just an excellent use of the word bitch, and that just she really did a great job enunciating and explaining to this woman what she did wrong and why she's such a bitch. So has a kind of a Tarantino quality to the language. Here we go.
You got a problem, bitch? Is there a problem, motherfucker? You put your motherfucking shit on me again, bitch. Tell me to go the fuck back somewhere, bitch. Tell me. Tell me, bitch. Tell me. Now turn that motherfucking hose off, bitch, before I shove up your fucking ass. You understand me, bitch? I'm not a motherfucker to be played with. Do you understand me, bitch? So you fucked up your car, bitch, and you think that shit is cute, bitch, but it ain't, Becky, motherfucking racist, bitch. You racist motherfucker. I'm sick of you bitches. I'm sick of you bitches. You understand me, bitch? Do you understand me, bitch? You got a problem, bitch.
So there you go. That's what happens. Leave your neighbors alone. Strange stuff. And, we got another one here. It's a tough day for women standing their ground on ridiculous points. But this is in a mini mart, and same kind of thing. The woman's telling her to go back to Mexico or something like that. She claims that she owns the mini mart, and this guy isn't having it. He doesn't care if you own a mini mart. You can't tell people to go back to Mexico. You can't refuse to serve them. This is insane. The fact that we're getting all this video, the other side of this is that whole thing with the Klan people not wearing their hats anymore. You used to have to be anonymous. You used to hide these ideas. You used to say, you don't like those people? Well, don't say it publicly. But now apparently these people feel charged up to say it publicly and to really out their true selves. Let's watch this lady attack random people at her convenience store.
You guys get out of here. Are you the manager? Yes. You need to leave. You need to leave. We're not serving you.
Hold on, guys. Okay.
We're not serving you.
Excuse me, but you did say that she needs to go back to her country. What is that?
Native Americans.
Excuse me, this is what this whole world.
White people are not from this country. Don't serve her. Yeah, you do not serve her. Don't serve her racist ass.
You don't tell. No. Continue serving. Continue serving.
You need to leave. You're not a part of this. You need to leave. You're not a part of this. No, you do not come in here and use the F word and swear and call me a bitch.
I've never even said that.
I said she is, and you're not a part of it.
That word.
So
you're
you
making
get out of
stuff up
here.
now.
I know. I said she is, and that's why she's leaving. So you will leave too.
No. This is going all over the internet. You don't know who I am. You told her to go back to her country, where she's from.
That's assault.
Yeah.
You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Where were you born? Where were you born, bitch? I was born in America, bitch. Where are your ancestors from? They're not from this country. You're going back to Mexico. Bitch, you better go back to where you're from.
You just walked into her. Excuse me?
Hey, God, bitch, you just touched me.
Wow,
Oh my
see?
God.
Yeah, you deserved it, in my opinion. Yeah, you pushed her and she smacked you. That was self-defense on her part.
Oh, she grabbed me.
Nope.
Please.
So things are getting crazy out there. It's just things are getting nuts everywhere. So that lady really thought she was the powerful one and that she could tell that lady to go back to where she came from and kick her out because I guess she owns a convenience store. But we saw what happens at the end when she tries to lay hands on her and she's pushing her and the other lady slaps her right in the face. So that one woman seemed very shocked, like she hadn't been slapped before. I'm not so sure about that.
You just walked into her. Excuse me?
She grabbed her arm and pushed her backwards, and the other lady slapped her. Totally self-defense. And I agree with the guy. It's going to be all over the internet tomorrow, you moron. What is with these people? And as if there wasn't enough, here's another Karen. As the texts say, let's make this Karen famous. And this is a kind of a neat, unique one because basically there are no black people involved. This white woman seems to be attacking 2 or 3 Serbian guys. I think they're immigrants to the U.S. I think, certainly they have a right to be here. Everyone does. And yeah, she just lays into them. And I think she's a little drunk and stuff too, but you can tell that the true racism really comes out. Let's watch another Karen video here.
Because you're an ignorant prick, is what you are. Yeah, you're funny, eh? Holy go back to your country. We don't need
say
you
like
here.
Respect, just,
you know
just
what?
respect.
Excuse me?
Just respect. Don't say like that.
Relax.
We all
Excuse
Canadian.
me?
We all
Relax.
Canadian.
Excuse
Don't
me?
respect us
I
like
was
that.
born and raised here.
Doesn't matter.
You
That
know
doesn't
what?
make me-
You know what? I have a different opinion than
think.
you,
I don't care.
and I don't give a
care.
what you think.
I don't care what
How
you
about
say.
that?
I don't
How
care
about
what
that?
you say.
Good for you.
Well, good for you too.
Do you pay taxes here, my friend?
Of course I pay
Do
taxes.
you pay taxes?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You don't want taxes.
Yes, everybody pay taxes.
Oh, everybody pays
Yes.
taxes, really?
Yeah.
You do.
Of course I
You were
do. What do
born
you
and
think?
raised here?
I pay more
No,
taxes
all
than
your friends pay taxes.
you tell me. what to
Excuse
do.
me?
Excuse
You know
me.
what? You're not dealing with one of your Syrian right now, and I'm not going to be talked down
But
to
you're the
by
one
you.
who turned around and talking to us.
I'm not
You're
going to
the
be
one who
talked
was
down
struggling.
to by you. So you laugh all you want. You know what? That's a prime example of why we don't want you here.
Okay, what else?
Wow.
There you go.
You know what?
You're the
You're
man.
a dick.
You're the man.
Thank you.
You're the man.
She's
the one who told us.
You know what? I didn't do anything. He's eyeing me up.
He never eyed you. You were the one who was
No,
staring at
actually, I
him.
turned around and
Yo.
he glared at me.
Why are you being so
staring at
racist?
him.
Why are you being so
Oh, all of a
racist?
sudden I'm being racist.
Yes.
We're gonna call the
You know
cops
what?
right
You
now.
guys need to go back to where you
Okay,
came
we're gonna
from.
call the cops right now.
It's not
We're gonna see how you're gonna.
okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse
Shut your mouth. Sit
You know
down.
what, dude?
Sit
No,
down.
you know what?
Show me.
It's
Show
not
me.
home.
Show me.
I was born and raised here.
We were.
You
I
weren't.
respected you first, and I didn't talk with
You.
you.
No, excuse me?
Shut up.
You don't own
Don't
this country.
talk. And this is my
Ted?
country. This is my country.
No, it's not your country.
It is my.
It is his country. It's our country. It's all of our countries. I really don't understand where these people are getting their idea of the United States from. I guess I'm a little biased because I read the history. But the history that I read is a consistent stream of immigrants, right? The first immigrants from England and Netherlands, Amsterdam. They came here, and then other groups of immigrants came here, and other groups of people came here by force and slavery and so on and so forth. Then the Irish came here, then the Portuguese, then the Chinese came and they built the railroads. And then, I mean, all of these people from Mexico, people from Canada, people from France and Germany, all over the world come to America, and they make this great big America. And I've always thought that. I've always thought that we were the great big America. For this lady to say, go back to where you came from, just like the people in the other videos, these people are probably born here too. They might have an accent because they're family, or they might have been born somewhere else and moved here, but they live here now, and they're a part of it. They're a part of the big American experiment, right? I mean, apparently this lady's in a totally different experiment than the one that I'm in, and that in her experiment, you can still tell people to go back to where they came from, and you can say that, you know, you own America for some reason, and I'm sure she doesn't have the money, but yeah, just another strange video, and certainly the lady's a little intoxicated and stuff, but yeah, just a bad look. I don't know why this keeps happening. Here's another one. This one's from Perez Hilton. I don't know if he was involved or what, but here we go.
Are you passing me up when I'm going 58 and a 55?
No, but
Shut up.
No, let me explain myself. No, don't tell me to shut up. I am 18 years old.
Can we please ask why you're being like? You're trying to ask. You're trying
Get out of here. Move. Go back to your country. Do whatever.
Excuse me.
Okay, you know what?
Excuse me.
Are you passing me up when I'm going 58?
There's another one. So another one, go back to your country. I don't know what these people are talking about, where they come from, why they think this is acceptable. A lot of these people seem to be kind of well-off people. And that's not going to last either. Like, there's going to be lawsuits. They're going to take your car away. People are going to find out who you are. They're going to, you know, get mad at you at work. They're going to take your jobs away. I mean, this lady gets out of her car, yells at them some more, and then seems to hit their camera or something. And that's after she tells them to go back to their country. So, again, video cameras, you morons. Like, I don't know. Like, first of all, you have horrible views. Second of all, you don't seem to understand how cameras work. Normal, like, I guess I'm kind of risk averse, but if I see someone pointing a camera at me, you know, I try to stop cursing. I try to stop doing bad things. I'm not going to cross the street illegally, so on and so forth. Like, cameras change behavior normally, but apparently not anymore. They just see the camera and they get fired up. They're like, this is my chance to be on the internet. I'm going to tell these people off, and it's going to echo around the earth. And part of it is they think they're so right, that they have so much righteousness, that they're just so right. That they can do this. And again, these are KKK members not wearing hoods anymore. This is what happens when you have a backwards racist president. People come out of the woodworks and they get inspired. And previously, this lady probably wouldn't have told them to go back to their country. But now she's powerful. She's part of the ruling class. At least that's what they think. Local law enforcement agencies have received almost $454 million in surplus military since Trump took office. Remember, President Obama stopped this program, finally. Certainly, it continued through his administration. It continued during the W. Bush administrations. But Obama did stop it. But much like many of the things that Obama stopped with executive orders, when Trump got in there, he just launched new executive orders, flipping them over. Robert Reich says, imagine if we invested that money into schools and communities rather than armored vehicles and tear gas. Or we could have gotten protective equipment for our doctors. You know, we could have had a national staff of protected gear instead of a national staff of heavily armored vehicles, riot cops, and tear gas. Seems like we have tons of that stuff. I wonder. I don't know what's going on with this one, but I'm going to assume it's a pulsar, right? Another mysterious deep space radio burst is sending signals to Earth. And some, of course, have wondered if they could be a message from aliens. But that's mainly because people don't understand a lot of things about space. And they think that radio waves all come from radios. They don't. They can be generated from other things. Also, the 157 days, that's a regular type thing, as if it was orbiting around something as it shows in the graphic here, and that maybe it's being blocked by the path of another object. but then the other object moves out of position every 157 days, and we get a clear blast of the signal. I don't think it's aliens, but I'm always excited to see anybody talking about science and space. So there you go. Shout out to Paul Vigna over at CoinDesk. He just tumbled down the Bardcore rabbit hole, and it's the greatest thing ever. Medieval versions of modern songs. I may be up all night. And it's funny because I saw these on YouTube as well. They started recommending them to me. There's a great version here, as he says, all the kids with the pumped up kicks, that great song done in medieval style. There's another one, they do Creep by Radiohead. I guess he's calling it Bardcore here, which is really cool. Bardcore. So check that out on YouTube. I would play a little bit here, but YouTube gets upset. So I feel we talked enough about Trump not being able to walk down ramps and not being able to drink water one-handed. So let's keep moving. Although they say in his final days, Hitler shook violently from Parkinson's disease and rarely ventured outside of his bunker. Seems true. Parkinson's was trending last night, as well as the hashtag Trump is not well. And even if you're a fan of the president, even if you've been with him the whole way and you don't like Mexican people and you don't like all the other things that he doesn't like and you don't like immigrants or whatever, you still have to worry about his health here. You still have to say, like, you know, we need a healthy president. We need a, smart president. We need a together president. If you're sick, for the good of the country, you need to step down, step aside, right? As much as I don't really like Mike Pence, at least he seems healthy. He can walk and he can drink water one-handed. So this is an event that occurred last night in Philadelphia. There's a lot of different sides to this event, but let's just try to round it up. So there's a Christopher Columbus statue in Philadelphia, and these guys showed up with bats, and it says guns, trying to protect the statue. Okay, cool, good enough. That's fair. But then when this kid showed up with his bicycle and his camera to record it for the internet, they attacked him. They called him media and so on and so forth, and they ended up slicing the tires of his bike. Later on, the police are called, and the Philadelphia police do not side with the journalist. They claim that the journalist, by filming things, was inciting a riot, and that these vigilantes with knives and guns and bats who are there to protect a statue, good luck on that. You can't protect it forever. And the police sided with the violent demonstrators who destroyed the journalist's property. So somebody's going to lose their job. Somebody in Philly's going to lose their job. We'll show you his face later. And he actually seems like a nice guy. It's not too bad. But he did make a bad mistake. He chose to attack the journalist. Again, he's simplifying. He wants things to be simpler. So the simplest thing for him was to remove the journalist. Unfortunately, First Amendment, all that stuff, and the fact that these people destroyed his property and attacked his person. Let's watch some more horrifying video of idiots out of Philadelphia. And again, we have all these morons' pictures. The internet is going to work on every one of these morons. So
you're so scared. Aren't you embarrassed?
They have bats. He's one man.
I can give you my business card, sir, if there's a problem.
Aren't you embarrassed?
They just struck his camera. That's assault.
You're embarrassed. You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment.
They're
So what do you
surrounding
think
him.
about how
They're
Christopher
walking around.
Columbus cut off the hands of people who didn't bring him enough gold?
They were fucking savages back then. They all
This guy just hit me in the head.
Now they're taking
Sir,
his
can I have my
bicycle.
bike back? Sir, let me
Again,
have my
this is
bicycle.
assault.
You wanna talk shit, get the fuck out of here.
Now they're attacking. They're attacking the camera. And again, look, they're slicing the bike tires. We have it on video. You just destroyed another person's property. Like, that's not acceptable.
You're so scared.
You just destroyed his property, you asshole, and you have a knife. So again, the police did not side with this guy who's being attacked. They sided with the attackers. Oh, we got to pause. This is a nice palate cleanser here. I just thought this was so funny. I found it on Facebook. I had to steal it and take it to Twitter. Don't like looting? You will hate the British Museum. Great stuff. But I love the British Museum. But it is a lot of looting. So they have a point. Think about it for a minute. The police didn't shoot the man in Atlanta, Rayshard Brooks, when they were scuffling with him on the ground when he was fighting back. They shot him in the back when he was running away from them. They shot him in the back. And here's the police officer. This is a police captain. Apparently a good guy. There's a lot of articles written about him. He seems really reasonable. But again, here he's made the wrong choice. The journalist has these protesters on video attacking him, assaulting him, and destroying his property. All on video, incredibly clear. This officer should be siding with the journalist, protecting his right to film, and likely arresting these people who have assaulted him and destroyed his property. Instead, it's Philadelphia. So, fuck it. Anything goes. Let's listen to this officer take away First Amendment rights from this journalist. Let's listen to him threaten him, give him 1-minute warnings, and completely come down on the wrong side of the law. Also note, his face mask keeps falling down because it's on upside down. Your face mask is on upside down, officer.
Can you repeat that? I didn't catch that.
No, I'm giving you 3 warnings to disperse.
Okay.
3 warnings.
All right.
Obviously, it's a volatile situation, and you're aggravating the situation.
I'm here as a journalist to document this situation.
Warnings,
so you're telling me that as a journalist...
Warning number 1, I'm asking you to leave.
Okay.
To quell the situation. Okay? That's your first warning. You want a time check?
I just... You understand that I'm telling you... I just want your confirmation. You understand I'm telling you...
PM.
I'm here as a journalist.
And you're inciting a riot.
I'm here...
You can see the people who assaulted him in the background. The guy with the bright red shirt, the other guy with the knife. They're right there, officer. Turn around and arrest them.
You're saying I'm inciting a riot as a journalist?
Yes, sir. 8:48 p.m.
So I can no longer fulfill my journalistic obligations to document this scene.
Time.
Okay, can you give me your name and badge number as
You
the
have
person
my
telling
name
me?
and badge number.
Can you say it for me out loud?
No, I can't. You can read it off my badge.
Okay.
135 is my badge number. All right?
All right.
Second warning. What time is it?
8:49.
8:49.
A minute later.
Thank you.
I'm going to comply with your order.
I appreciate that.
So now, unfortunately, I don't want to be negative to the journalist, but unfortunately, he does make a tactical mistake here. As bad as it is to go to prison and so on and so forth, he should make them arrest him. He should just stay there, and he should let them arrest him, and then they'll be proven wrong later on, and you'll get more money in the settlement, and it'll be a bigger issue, because they're clearly taking away his journalistic right to film in a public square where he has just been assaulted, his property has been destroyed, and the people who assaulted him and destroyed his property are right there behind the officer. What should the officer do? He should take a report from the journalist. He should have the journalist identify the people who destroyed his property, the people who attacked him. Then those people should be cuffed and removed from the scene, not the journalist. Big mistake here in Philadelphia. And again, we have his badge number. The internet has his name. They've looked it all up. He's going to lose his job. All these other people are probably going to lose their jobs. They're on the wrong side here.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So when he walks away, how do you know you did the wrong thing? The protester's chair. You'll note that he has to carry his bicycle because they popped the tires. The protester's chair. You made a mistake, officer. You're on the wrong side. And it's surprising that that officer hasn't heard of the First Amendment. It's the first one. It's right there. Let's pull it up. I could probably recite it, but I'd rather do it right. Let's see. Oh, I can't load any web pages anymore. Oh, sigh. The sigh. I put this browser plugin on and now I can't use the web. It's great. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Constitution of the United States. A little more commentary here from Twitter. So the Philly police sided with the racist rioters who were carrying bats and threatening journalists. Yep, that's what they did. Absolutely shameful. They're no longer able to cover the ongoing, escalating Marconi Plaza, South Philadelphia vigilante incident after the Philadelphia police ordered them to leave. Shortly before the police asked them to leave, the crowd was cheering as a man arrived with a 2020 Trump flag. The police were also shaking hands with some of the white vigilantes as this was happening. Almost seems like there's a completely different justice system for some people. And maybe this is why they want to defund the police. When you have the police shaking hands with white supremacist protesters who are out in the street with bats. One right there seems like he was friends coming back. And then look at the cheering. It's clearly a political rally. There it is right there, shaking hands, being friends. What is going on? Philadelphia. As it says here, this is from, again, Unicorn Riot at UR_ninja. They do reports from the streets during riots with microphones and stuff. We played one of their videos the other day. Most of the all-white crowd at Marconi Plaza now seems mostly interested in confronting our lone reporter on the scene. Many invitations have been given to engage in hand-to-hand combat. As journalists, we are obliged to decline. So again, they wanted to fight him for filming what they were doing. South Philly police enthusiasts are very upset when the police told them they aren't allowed to physically stop us from filming them. Let's watch. Lost our... Again, maybe these are little children. They've never been outside before, but you're allowed to film anything you want outside. It's a fucking law.
I said I don't want to fucking film you because I don't want to fucking film you.
If you don't want to be filmed, don't go outside. Don't go to a public place. Have you ever seen TMZ? Do you think the celebrities want to be filmed? No, but they're outside. They're in a public place. That's the law, you morons.
I said I don't want to fucking film you because I don't want to fucking film you. I don't want to fucking film you. I don't care. I don't fucking care about it. Mike, I ain't fucking going nowhere. Mike,
arrest that guy. Again, we all know if that guy had been black, about 5 people would have jumped on him and started beating the shit out of him. It's complete double standard, and it's really obvious. This guy is pushing through the police line. He's not listening to them. 5 of his buddies have to hold him back. They would have gotten the clubs out already if this was the other way.
That's what I'm saying, so that's why you're around him. You're protecting him. Because the people like me. People like me, right? People like me. I fucking live here. I live here.
The journalist also lives there. The journalist also lives there. And yes, the police should be protecting the journalist, but they give up and then they send him away.
Like me. People like me, right? People like me. I fucking live here.
Doesn't sound violent at all. Yelling, screaming, cursing. Again, if a black man was this belligerent to a police officer, they'd hit him in the head with a club. We've all seen it 100 times now. So it's strange that the police are not escalating this situation and that they're not busting all of his buddies too.
I live here. He's the one actually. He started earlier. I live here.
He started it by filming. He lived there all his fucking life, but he never managed to open a book, not even once. Impressive work from Philadelphia. More agitated men with bats and sticks were continuing to arrive. The Philly police faced some backlash after they appeared to tolerate and endorse similar activity in Fishtown on the north side of the city recently. The police just then leave, leaving the protesters to control the statue and the square. Maybe it's okay because they're white, I guess. This man by the statue is armed with some kind of a rifle. So these are men armed with guns and bats in the public square, and nothing's happening to them. It's just like the Minnesota thing where they wanted haircuts. You can protest for haircuts, but you can't protest for Black lives. It's not acceptable. There's almost 100 white vigilantes at the Columbus statue. And again, you morons, everyone knows where this statue is. Are you going to be there every day and every night? Because you've pretty much just put a big tag on this statue. The first person to dump paint on this statue wins. The first person to attach ropes to this statue and pull it down wins. You don't have to win today. You don't have to win tomorrow, but you can win any time in the future. These morons have just shown us once again George Patton's fantastic quote, "Fixed fortifications are a monument to the stupidity of man." This specifically is a monument, and it is most certainly fixed. That means that it can't be moved. We all know where it is. We all know exactly where it is, and you guys won't be there tomorrow. You won't be there in a week. You won't be there in 2 weeks. Somebody's coming back for your statue, morons. They've got different videos. They're trying to identify the man who attacked the reporter's bike with a metal bat. They say that the police were present, and they passively watched him strike the bike with the bat. So the police knew who was in the wrong here. They can see the bats, guns, sticks, and bats. The police are friendly with that group, and they attack the journalist instead. Crazy stuff coming out of Philadelphia. And now to the riots in Atlanta. It does seem like they're warning people to get away from the building. It's possible that maybe propane or something inside the building could explode after the protesters set the Wendy's on fire. Riots erupt in Atlanta. One of the busiest highways in the United States is currently shut down as protesters took the freeway. There's another shot from the Atlanta riot. Got a lot of volume there. Look at the flames in the background. That is a big fire. Looks like it's kind of close to that gas station. Remember, gas stations are not something you want to catch on fire, even though most of the fuel is underground. And maybe the cops shouldn't have shot that guy in the back when he was running away. Maybe they'd still have a Wendy's, you know? We had very sad news as well, more Bitcoin-related news. The Zhao Tonged Classic, The End of the Silk Road, has been removed from YouTube. No reason was given. Some of his other songs have been removed for copyright infringement, which is false. These songs are parodies and satires. They're protected. Even though they use the same music, you don't own the copyright over parodies and satires. This is a great song. He was dressed up like the Anonymous guy. He was singing a Boys to Men song that he had changed the words to be about the Silk Road, and it's just full of jokes. Just a fantastic song. Let's read the rest of the thread. There is a version of this song preserved in a Mad Bitcoins video from 2013. I was there with Davi Barker and Andreas Antonopoulos, and we were talking about the best songs of Bitcoin of 2013. And Davi and Andreas both brought the song to me. I hadn't heard it yet. I played it on the video, and it was so good, I had to abandon all the other songs and give the award for best song to Zhao Tonged and his fantastic End of Silk Road. Unfortunately, I didn't go full screen, and we kind of talk over it and dance over it, so it's not really the best preserved version. So maybe if somebody has a mirror out there, if somebody downloaded this, if somebody knows Zhao Tonged and can contact him and get him to upload this to another site, something like that would work. But right now, Bitcoin has lost this video. Our history is being erased by YouTube. I did film a live version of this song at Bitcoin in the Beltway. I also did an interview with Zhao Tong at the same convention. You can check that out. And this song was so good that The Atlantic magazine wrote an article about it saying, all of history culminates in this Boys to Men inspired song about Silk Road. And we're going to lose our ad rights here, which is kind of funny because I made this video that I'm going to play. But I want to play a little bit of the live version from Bitcoin in the Beltway. This was 2013, maybe 2014. We were in Washington, D.C. at a very early Bitcoin conference called Bitcoin in the Beltway. Let's watch just a little bit of Zhao Tong, End of Silk Road. Apologies. But yeah, it's a great song full of jokes about the thing. There's a great line about maybe next time you won't be on our shores, about the Dread Pirate Roberts. Just a great song. I miss it. I'm sad that it's not there anymore. If you have a mirror of this, if you know someone that knows Zhao Tong, you can chat him up, send it out. Also included a tweet today to Charlie Shrem. Was in New York before. I think Zhao Tong was in New York, and maybe they know each other. Maybe you can get in contact with him and have him upload it anywhere else on the internet. Upload it, and I will make a copy of it and put it in my archives forever. And well, that would make me feel better. But yeah, it sucks. Bad job, YouTube. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but protesters shutting down the interstate in Atlanta after the murder of Rayshard Brooks by police. It's a very strange thing and not a good idea. The protesters in Seattle are attempting to change the name of the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, CHAZ, a great acronym. Maybe one of the best ever. It's a person's name. It sounds friendly. It's short. It has a Z on it. It's great. So it's 100% great. They want to change that to CHOP, Capitol Hill Occupy or Organized Protest, which is not the same at all, guys. You just completely lost me. Autonomous zone, I like. Declare your own country, declare there to be no police, so on and so forth. That's exciting stuff. That's interesting stuff. We could go further on that. Organized protest? You don't need a zone for that. You can come back every day and have an organized protest. You don't need an area. So very strange. And CHOP. Terrible acronym. Physical, cutting things, chopping off limbs, right? Not good. CHAZ sounds like your friend or like your dog's name. It sounds very friendly. You can be in the CHAZ. You can be going to the CHAZ. Whereas CHOP is just terrible. I'm going to the CHOP. What are you going to do? Cut someone? I'm going to chop things up. I'm in the CHOP. You mean like you're in the shit? Yeah, I was in the shit. So yeah, bad decision. I don't know what they're doing. And again, this is another one of those really strange things where I'm not even sure this is connected to the Black Lives Matter protest anymore. There's something else going on over there. And a lot of people have said this. They've seen a lot of white activists running the show in Seattle and a lot of white activist anger. And we're wondering if this is distracting from the Black Lives movement and from the police brutality movement. And it's become more about hanging out on these streets in Seattle, which we all know isn't going to last. So very strange stuff from the CHOP in Seattle. I thought this was cool at first, but I also thought it was real. So I don't know. It's kind of cool. Over at Decentraland, some VR thing that they printed their own tokens for, of course. They have a Cryptopoly jukebox where you can hear all the Cryptoraptor songs that you want on a jukebox. That's pretty cool. But it would be cool if it was in the real world. So, well. Interesting fact from history. I just thought this kind of stuff is interesting. The white man in this photo was Peter Norman from Australia, who finished second in the 1968 200-meter final. Norman stood in solidarity with the American black athletes, and it was Norman who suggested, when they discovered that they only had one pair of gloves, that they should each wear one. So pretty neat that even the white guy in this famous picture also participated and supported their protest in 1968. Let's see. Talked a lot about Trump and the water glass. That's fine. Here's the cowboy from Big Lebowski teaching you. If you sign a COVID-19 waiver to attend a rally about how COVID-19 is fake, you're a special kind of stupid. Hong Kong continues to get worse and worse. I wish that everyone hearing this would leave. Get the hell out of there. We're told to sit tight and wait and see what's in the national security law, but the government HK letter to schools give hints on what's to come. With slogans, protests, and songs banned. Can't believe this is still going on, but then again, all the American companies helped out so much building that great firewall. So they're all a little bit responsible for this. President Obama says in Washington, they've racked up enough indictments to field a football team. Nobody in my administration got indicted. That is pretty impressive. It's not so impressive now. And President Obama again says, if you have to win a campaign by dividing people, you're not going to be able to govern them. You won't be able to unite them later. And that's pretty much what we've seen. The Republicans ran on a party of dividing this country. They have about 30 to 40% of the vote. And President Trump's approval rating has never risen above that number. Other presidents have been very popular with both sides of the aisle as they try to serve the entire country. That's not what they did this time. They continued to serve just the one side and to get those sweet, sweet tax cuts for the rich. Then we saw it again in the pandemic when all the money from the PPP program was randomly given away, and now we don't know who has it, and they won't tell us. It's great stuff. Tim Horace writes, when the politicians start saying, stop protesting, you've won, that's when you know you've really got to pick up the pace. And it does seem they're trying to tire out the protesters and to get them to go home and to stop coming back. Meanwhile, nothing concrete has been promised on ending police brutality. The only police department to be removed so far is the Minneapolis, Minnesota Police Department. None others have been removed, although the Denver School Board broke up with the police department, no longer allowing officers on campus. We've seen other schools break up with police departments and stop allowing officers on campus because the kids don't feel safe. Police officers no longer make anyone feel safe, which is a big sign on why they need to go, and we need to redesign American policing from the ground up. I suggest a British model where the police don't have guns. That's a good place to start. And no state has more statues to Southern leaders than Virginia, home to the former capital of the Confederacy. And no city faces a more tortured reckoning with them than Richmond. Here along Monument Avenue, there's as many as 15 statues from the Confederacy. Some see them as priceless historical artifacts. Others see them as racially charged relics. Well, let's agree together and let's move them all to museums. Protect the statues. Move them to museums. Get them the hell out of the public square. They're getting ruined there anyway by acid rain, pigeons, garbage. Get the statue somewhere nice and safe. Let's get these statues to a museum. It's been 6 hours. Nobody on the internet has a mirror or a backup copy of this video. Come on, guys. Nobody? And does anybody know Zhao Tonged? Anybody know Charlie Shrem? He might know Zhao Tonged. I'm just reaching out here, shot in the dark. It's not about me. I don't make any money on this. Doesn't matter. It's for the good of the internet. We need this video back. The internet is poorer without this video. And I do have the live version, and I do have the version I recorded in 2013. But that's not enough. I want a real version. I wanted to show this to someone yesterday, and I couldn't. And that's not the way of the internet. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Bad news in Atlanta. Watch out. They're bringing out the LRAD devices again. That's the sonic cannon. And that the sound cannons can cause tinnitus, vomiting, and permanent hearing loss. As the author says here, it's police terrorism, and it's coming soon to the streets of Atlanta. Watch out for those sound cannons. If they're deploying a sound cannon, might be a better idea not to protest, to get away from them. Or ideally, if the sound cannon couldn't roll, you could move to another part of the yard. Although it probably has big military tank tires or something. So here's all the states where the coronavirus cases are spiking. Look at them on the beach there in Florida. It turns out it's not so much about the protests, at least so far. It's just about how early you opened. The two earliest opening states, Texas and Florida, have the most spread and the most cases, exactly as we predicted 2 weeks ago right here on the show. You can watch it over and over. Every day I say, hey, there's a second wave coming. Stay inside. Don't be stupid. Wear a mask. Get some more food. Stock up. We're going to lock down again. And now it's here. I wish it wasn't. I wish I was wrong. I wish the virus went away. But it didn't. The police chief of Atlanta has stepped down in the aftermath of Rayshard Brooks' death. Good. There's another story in Los Angeles. I'm not sure what to say about this story. It's still developing. Robert Fuller, a black man, was found hanging from a tree in Los Angeles. The initial report said that this was suicide. I don't have any more information than that, but it does sound like we just had a modern lynching in Los Angeles, or maybe a self-lynching, but still very strange. The supervisor is asking the Attorney General to review the death of Robert Fuller in Los Angeles. Movie news. Pete Davidson's The King of Staten Island was pulled from theaters. It was about to be shown at some drive-in movie theaters. Then they pulled the movie. Nothing's wrong with the movie. It's fine. I don't know it. Maybe it's fine. But this is a Universal picture. I don't know if you guys are watching this, but this is some of the exciting things happening in movies right now. Universal has broken with the movie theater system. It started out when they played, it's actually a really good movie, Trolls World Tour. They released that to direct to streaming first. When movie studios like Universal release a picture to streaming, they don't have to pay the movie theater. They don't have to pay the popcorn. They don't have to pay the everything, right? They get the money. So it's actually possible that a movie theater like Universal might make more money releasing their movies direct to homes, to streaming, rather than to movie theaters. Universal is leading the way on this. AMC Movie Theaters, the largest movie chain in the United States, has banned Universal Pictures. They will not carry any of them. They're so mad about Trolls, and now Universal is doubling down, pulling this movie from drive-thrus where it was scheduled, perhaps by mistake, and releasing it directly to streaming. It's very big news in movies. Check out this protest from Wellington, New Zealand, next to Australia, in the old Down Under. Look at the size. Incredible. A white South Jersey cop has been charged after pepper spraying two black teens who were just sitting on a stoop. This is the ninth police department that this cop has worked for. He's 31 years old. So again, we saw it with the Catholic Church. They were moving around the priests from parish to parish. Whenever they abused children, they would just cover it up and move them around. In the same way, these brutal police, because of the power of their police union, are not punished and just simply move job to job to job, causing more damage. That's why you have to throw out the entire system, starting with the police unions. Larry Kudlow, formerly of CNBC or Fox Business, something like that, he's a TV talking head, defends the decision not to name which businesses receive big taxpayer-funded loans later to be giveaways. I don't think that promise was ever made, and I don't think it's necessary. There's a certain privacy element here. Well, if you want to be private, don't take a public loan from the taxpayers, right? The taxpayers should know who we loan that money to. I don't care if it exposes their businesses to weakness. There's lots of weak businesses out there. This is a very strange decision not to release the information and now to double down on it. Who took the money? Just keep asking. Dr. Fauci warns that it could be a year before things get back to normal. I would hope to get to some degree of real normality within a year or so, but I don't think it's this winter or fall. We'll be seeing it for a bit more. And I've been warning you guys about this from the very beginning, that we were going to have to wait at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years to get a vaccine. And until there's a vaccine, people aren't going to start going outside again. They're not going to start traveling. They're not going to start spending money in the way that they used to, going to restaurants, movie theaters, concerts, cafes, all those places. So until we get the vaccine, until we finish this thing, kill the virus, it's still going to be here. And again, I think they didn't think that you could handle it in the beginning, and they were afraid to tell you. And we told you the truth here on this show, and it's now still correct and being proven more true every day. They say this happened before. This happened in 2014 in Ferguson. White folks coming in with their own agendas and black folks being blamed for the destruction. There's an observation about the downtown rally several hours ago. This sounds like it's in Atlanta. Lots of whites who were very young. There were blacks there to be sure, but not many people I was familiar with. It didn't look like Detroit to me. So busman in Detroit. They say another majority white Black Lives Matter protest in a majority black city with a majority white protesters clashing with a majority black police force. They also say white protesters jumped on the police cars first, burned a car, kicked in the windows of the CNN building. They definitely had an agenda, and they got the outcome they wanted. So it's very strange to see these protesters crossing over, leading the demonstrations, causing more trouble, and not necessarily helping the cause of the black protesters and the entire movement of Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and everything that's happened. Here we have the exact same thing that we're talking about, but now it's on video. A white girl set the fire at Wendy's in Atlanta. Let's watch.
Look at this white girl. Look at the white girl trying to set shit on fire. Look at the white girl trying to burn down the Wendy's. This wasn't us. This wasn't us. Look at this white girl. Look at the white girl trying to set shit on fire. Look at the white girl trying to burn down the Wendy's. This wasn't us. This wasn't us.
Very strange footage right there of a white girl trying to burn down a Wendy's. Did you know the average hours of training required to be a police officer in other countries? It's thousands of hours, 4,500 hours in Finland, 1,924 hours in New Zealand. In the United States, it's a mere 672 hours. Much, much, much less than other countries. As it says here, in many states, it's more difficult to become a barber than a cop with a license to kill. And check out Las Vegas. We're continuing to have these super spreader events here in Las Vegas. We're doing our best to spread the virus and to kill and infect as many people as we can, basically ruining the reputation of Las Vegas for all time. You can see right here, everyone's crowded into the downtown and no one is wearing masks. They're certainly not social distancing, but at least if they were wearing masks, they could contain the spread of the virus. Instead, these people are here to play for Team Virus. These are humans that don't like humans. They want more death, more sickness, and more infection. And what's great about a super spreader event like this in a tourist place like Las Vegas is that these people will likely be home back in their state spreading the virus before they realize they have it. They're not going to spread the virus here in Vegas. They're going to take it home to their communities and kill more of their own people. It's not time to vacation yet. It's not over. Not by a long shot. But there's a super spreader event right there. And we'll find more about that in a few weeks when the results come back. As the paramedics rushed to save Rayshard Brooks' lives, officers Bronson and Rolfe were approached by colleagues asking if they were okay. Bronson said little. Rolfe said he was still feeling an adrenaline rush. Rayshard Brooks left behind 4 children, and the officers were not concerned with his death. President Trump's rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, now the day after Juneteenth, will be held at an indoor arena that has canceled all other events through the end of July because of the coronavirus. Trump rally is being called a dangerous move in the age of the coronavirus, and it's amazing to see how the venue, which is not accepting any concerts or other events, is still going to allow this super spreader rally event to happen. Why would you want to kill your own supporters? I don't know. It's very strange. COVID-19 cases in Nevada have increased by 270 in the past 24 hours, the state's third highest jump in cases. Of the 270 cases reported in the state, 242 of them are in Clark County. That's where Las Vegas is. Just pay it no mind. Ignore this. We've got more COVID-19 updates from the state of Las Vegas. 10,991 cases statewide, up 286, the greatest single-day increase, team virus. 463 deaths statewide, up by 1. 7,878 recoveries statewide, up by 28. 1,955 cases in Washoe, up 41. And 70 deaths in Washoe County, including a woman in her 70s with underlying conditions. The virus is continuing to spread, regardless of whether we're tired of it or not. Here's Ben Carson defending an Atlanta officer who shot and killed Rayshard Brooks on the basis of, we don't know what was in the mind of the officer. This was not a clear-cut circumstance, and now we have what seems to be security camera footage of the man running away from police. You can see it right here, even without...
Terrible incident was clearly resist.
We don't need their sound, but there you can see right here, he's running away. Maybe he fires a taser at them and then they shoot him. So why don't they just let him run away? Why you got to shoot him? After all this stuff that's happened, after all these videos, George Floyd, all the other people, everything that's happened in the streets, these cops were not moved or affected by that at all. They didn't learn anything. They could have just let him get away. But again, it's cop ego. You can't allow him to get away because then you don't get the bust. Then you showed up to a parking lot and you got no bust. Just like I was telling you, those guys in the cars in New York City when they tried to drive over the protesters, they just didn't want to lose their car. They would have to go back to the station house and everyone would make fun of them for losing the car. Just like these guys, they would have been laughed at because they let a drunk guy escape. Oh, you couldn't chase him down. You couldn't get him. You had to call for backup. You had to call for a helicopter. Pussy. So instead of being pussies, they shot him in the back like murderers. At least you're not a pussy, right? Great stuff. And we made it. We made it to the top of the news. Check out yesterday's show. It's on podcast now. You can listen to the audio version of the show. Listen it into the background. You can ignore it, that kind of thing. And check it out. About a year ago, back when we used to go outside, I was in Berlin, and I was filming Bitcoin interviews by the river. You can check out those interviews right here on the World Crypto Network. We've got a link right here on the tweet. There's a whole playlist of all of our videos from last year in Berlin at the Unchained convention. It's very cool stuff. We did it. We got through the news. Only took 2 hours. Played lots of videos of Karens. That was fun. It's more fun than I thought it would be. I don't know how you guys liked it, but no, I thought those people were kind of losing their shit. Here's another one. This is the visual display of quantitative information by Edward Tufte. These are infographics and how to do infographics. I have some here. These are poems. These are shaped poems. You can see the shape of the poem. It's called Easter Wings. And you can see the poem is shaped like wings. Cool, huh? These used to be a lot more popular in the old days, poem-shaped poems. This is a typographical delight of the statistician W.J. Yoden. And the normal law of error stands out in the experience of mankind. So again, very interesting typological poems where the shape of the poem adds to the poem. Here we can see some stuff on lines here, some line graphs. Different ways of presenting information from Edward Tufte. Fantastic seminar. I don't think I really read the books, to tell you the truth, but they're big. This is a multivariate history of the Italian post office. It uses 2 dimensions in a way nearly consistent with this principle, with the number of postal savings books issued and the average sizes of deposits multiplying up from total deposits at the end of each month from 1876 to 1881. So you can see here the size of the post offices in Italy and the effect that they had, how many books they were selling, how many deposits they had. Very interesting infographic there. You see, there's really interesting ways to present information. And the reason you do this is to avoid something like the Challenger disaster. You don't want to just have a PowerPoint with 3 points that doesn't really display or give you the information. You want something like this, an info-rich graphic. This shows the signals from pulsars with marginal distribution. This is a pulsar chart. Kind of see that? Pretty cool, huh? Different axes, different kinds of information combined together, so you can see them all. Obviously, when the signal's larger on the right, we're getting more information on the left. See, when the signal's lower, we're getting less information. So, interesting graph about pulsars there from Edward Tufte and this book called The Visual Display of Quantitative Information. It's a big book, and this is Big Book Day. Also, I guess it's kind of interesting. I don't think he wrote anything, but it is really cool that Edward Tufte signed my book. How cool is that? And he, it was funny. He was such a professor. Everybody was in line for the books. There's an interesting kind of a height graph. Maybe these are the height of different statues, something like this. Very interesting comparison. But yeah, just like a professor. I was up there to get my book signed, and he was like, "Oh, you better get back to the your desk, and you better review your reading and get ready for the seminar." So he wanted me to be diligent and study the information, and of course I did. So there's a very cool maps. You can see the temperature. You can see the depth of the ocean on the one on the left. Those little lines getting closer together. Those are mountains or undersea mountains, and just really interesting the way the same area can be displayed so differently. Looking at the one on the right, looks like it's mainly temperature. It's a temperature map. But really interesting to see the different choices that colors could have. Here's a horse, and then there's a X-ray of the horse. Interesting. This one's called Visual Explanations, Images and Quantities, Evidence and Narrative. So again, it's just about different ways to display information. This is Ultimate Weed. It has no redeeming features. It's unsightly and useless, unpalatable and toxic to animals, devoid of sugar for honey. And this is an infographic crying out against weeds. Weeds are bad. They destroy plants. Look, allergens, like all the different information that's included on this small graph. It hurts underground animals with its things. It has pellets, like just an interesting way. Flowers are not a source for honey. Has many easily dispersed seeds. Like, what a great way to share the information about plants through an infographic, right? Here's a picture of a map. These were designed by Edward Tufte. So this would be his example of good information. This is a map of a museum, Flemish paintings. You can see I love the depth of the maps for the building, the West building, the way that they're stacked on top of each other. You can really get the idea that, this room would be on top of that room. And if you were on the second floor, you'd be here. And what a great way to navigate people around a museum. Very cool stuff from Edward Tuft, an example of a good infographic. So an improved one. So you guys can check this out. Visual Explanations, Edward Tuft, Tufte. And if you get a chance, I was in San Francisco. I got sent by work, and I got to go to this fantastic seminar where he talked about information and displays and graphics. And one of the really neat things he had was a book. It's going to be either Newton or Galileo, but it was from the 14th century, right? And he opened it up, and the book had like a little pop out, like a page that you could pull out, and it simulated what a vortex looked like. So you could see thing spiral around, and there was a 3D cone that like came up out of the book to help you understand the three-dimensional nature of a vortex. And it was magnificent to see a book so old, and then to see a book so clever, right? So clever in presenting its information, even in that time period. So it's very cool, Edward Tuft. And he brought all that stuff, and I think he passed it around, or he showed it around. We really got to see it. It was great. So a great time in San Francisco with Edward Tuft. But I think that's about it for this show. Let's recap. Let's check the price of Bitcoin. It's still flat. The price of Bitcoin is down 0.66%. That's less than 1%, with a last of 9,391, a high of 9,498, and a low of 9,330. Volume was low, but it's a Sunday, with 2,246 Bitcoins changing hands. The market continues to lead margin long, although a little bit less than before. 82% of the market heading that direction. Bitcoin dominance is at 65%. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out the World Crypto Network store at worldcryptonetwork.store. There's also links in the description. And I'm told one of the reasons I went with Teespring is that it's connected to YouTube. So YouTube is supposed to be showing you sponsored products below this video. Thank you so much for buying these products. It really does help out the show. And you get a t-shirt, and you get a mug. And we're going to work on offering new and expanded products soon, but we just wanted to give this a try and get it started, see if there's any interest. I think we're kind of breaking even on the thing. Like I've sold 2 t-shirts, and I've bought like a t-shirt and a mug. So I think I'm giving the money back to them. But still, it's cool. We have some real world physical things that say World Crypto Network on it. I'll let you know when they arrive. I'll show them on the show. But very cool stuff. worldcryptonetwork.store. You can also check out the World Crypto Network audio podcast. It's up to date, including yesterday's episode. And I figured out why my YouTube downloader was breaking. Apparently, by downloading it every day and keeping it up to date, I had gotten on some kind of YouTube list, and they won't let me download from YouTube anymore. So, fortunately, I had my trusty VPN. I fired that up, and pretty soon I was coming from another place, and they were cool with me downloading YouTube again. So I downloaded some more YouTube, converted it to MP3, and stuck it on the podcast. So check that out on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, anywhere else where podcasts are served. We should be there. World Crypto Network. And give us a review if you want, although we've had some pretty mean reviews. So thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to give us a like and a share, thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit the bell for notifications, and have a good time in the chat with everybody. I think that's about it. I think we're going to end for today. It's Sunday. Normally I'd say something like, let's go watch a baseball game or a basketball game. Let's think of something else. Let's have a nice weekend. But as it is now, maybe you should just go watch a movie. Check out The Hunt. That's a great movie. Maybe it's a good time to watch some Fawlty Towers. If you're a big Monty Python fan, but you've never checked out Fawlty Towers, they just banned my favorite episode, The Germans, from the UK and everywhere else. but you can still get it on DVD or downloads or Blu-rays or whatever. So Fawlty Towers, Fawlty. They don't work. Fawlty Towers. The Hunt. And what else? I've been watching that Movies That Made Us. That was good. I watched Die Hard, Home Alone, Dirty Dancing, Ghostbusters. Those are some pretty good movies. And it was fun to watch a little documentary about them. I'm still making my way through Servant of the People, the Ukrainian show about the teacher who is elevated to president, which is really interesting because later on in real life, the actor / comedian who plays the teacher is elevated to president. So it's pretty good. It's a lot like Yes Minister. It's a lot of government bureaucracy. It's very tough to get things done in Ukraine. But it has a nice light touch. And even though you have to read the subtitles and they talk fast, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. But again, I'm pretty unique in political things. So check out Yes Minister. That's a great show from the 80s, all about bureaucracy and language. It's fun. But yeah, find something fun and nice to do. Stay out of trouble. Don't take any wooden nickels. Don't enter your Bitcoin key into a random computer program. Thank you. And I think that's about it for today. Thanks so much for watching us and joining us. We had about 43 people stick with us through the show. Even though the news was tough, it's tough to get through that much news. I hope the president's okay. Parkinson's, a stroke, dementia, neurosyphilis. It's a lot of heavy stuff to take, but we wish him well. And if he's sick, I hope that he'll resign for the good of his health, and I hope he'll consider not running, because that's not good for the country, and it's not good for him to keep doing this. But then again, there are other things involved and other issues and so on and so forth, so we'll see how that all works out. But thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye.